So the idea was, when the Qur'an's being talked about, things get serious. The topic, the discussion is serious. Well, the way to do that, way to avoid getting serious and having to deal with the demands of this book, is just create a distraction. Start talking about something else. Start raising your voices so nobody else can listen either. And the ayah I began with, actually the 29th ayah, is something the disbelievers are going to say on Judgment Day. Master, show us those who misguided us. And that is, they call this min bayaniya, meaning show us those who guided us. We mean to say, show us the people who misguided us among the jinns and among the human beings. Because they're the ones who misled us. The issue that's being highlighted here is a lack of personal responsibility. People are ending up in hellfire, and even as they're about to be thrown into hellfire, they're not willing to say yet, our fault. We're the ones who messed up. We didn't listen. We didn't take it seriously. We weren't the ones that were saying, don't listen to this Qur'an, just make noise instead. Instead, even now they're saying, show us the jinns and the human beings that got us here. In Qur'an elsewhere, Allah has already told us, nobody will listen to them, nobody will even look at them. وَلَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَيْهِمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ Allah was not going to even look towards them on Judgment Day. So they're just talking to themselves, really. Even if they're saying Rabbana. There's a lack of personal responsibility on behalf of the kafir. The aspect of disbelief that seeks to blame others for one's problems. This is a very common attitude, unfortunately, even among many Muslims. Hopefully you're not one of them and I'm not one of them. And that attitude is, I'm messing up as a Muslim, but let me tell you, I have a whole bunch of reasons, and I have a whole bunch of list of criminals that are actually the real culprit. I'm actually innocent. It's society's fault, it's the pressure, it's my workplace, it's my financial situation, it's my family, I was raised this way, what can I do? It's shaitan, man, he gets me every time, it's not my fault. I don't know what it is, I just can't help myself. So you live behind these excuses. You refuse to take responsibility for what you're supposed to be. This is the thing that's being criticized for the kuffar, and Allah is teaching us that they are in such denial that they can't even accept about themselves who they are, that even on Judgment Day they're asking Allah not for forgiveness, but for those who misled them, those who they want to blame and want to punish them, and they want to make them the lowest ones. But the beauty of the rububiyyah of Allah, and the ibadah and the ubudiyah of the slave, us becoming slaves, is that it frees us. You and I become slaves of Allah, and you're free from every other form of slavery. You're no longer a slave to fashion. You're no longer a slave to your appetites. You're no longer a slave to societal pressure. You're no longer a slave to economic worries. All of the things that shackle humanity and enslave humanity, you've just been freed from them. And so our youth, so many of our youth, they become enslaved to what they think is freedom. And they start dressing a certain way and talking a certain way and walking a certain way and listening to certain kinds of music and hanging with a certain kind of crowd, all thinking that this is part of their freedom, but not even realizing they're just enslaved. So those who declare Allah as their master and they tried really hard to stay straight. Allah is not even expecting perfection. Allah is expecting attempt, wanting. You want to fix yourself now that you've declared Allah as your master. And Allah is talking about the people who can look back in their life and they can honestly say to themselves, and honestly say to Allah, Ya Allah, I tried. The angel comes and says, you were continuously promised Jannah. You were continuously promised in the Qur'an. But if you're not reading the Qur'an regularly, you're not being continuously promised Jannah. If you're not listening to Allah's promise all the time, you're not one of the people that are constantly being promised Jannah. What are you picking? That's a personal question for each and every one of us, myself included. You've got some time to kill at home? Let's see what's funny on YouTube. Let's see what's out there, Or are you picking Qur'an? We have to be the people that are constantly exposed to Allah's word more than anything else. We have to be people of Qur'an. We can't get lazy about Allah's book. But then there's the believer who morning and evening he recited Allah's word. He or she found joy in reciting the Qur'an and listening to Allah's promise. And when you recite a lot of Qur'an, what do you hear about a lot? You hear about Jannah a lot. And you hear about it constantly. You don't just hear it once in a while. Allah doesn't just talk about this home of ours that He's built for us once in a while. He talks about it constantly, constantly, constantly. And what does Allah say? Allah describes the real estate of Jannah constantly in the Qur'an. I'm promising you, I'm promising you, and I tell you, wallahi, when we move to that house, we're not going to want to move. And then you will experience the joy of these promises that Allah makes. And wallahi, when you hear the promises of Allah, one of the most beautiful things about the promises of Allah, that I as a believer and you as a believer can't wait, is when Allah describes trees in Jannah. Allah describes drinks in Jannah. Allah describes rivers in Jannah. He describes them with great detail. Then we go to Jannah and we see, oh, that ayah, that's what He was talking about. One of our teachers at campus in Dallas had a beautiful exercise for our students. Really beneficial, I think, for all Muslims. He asked our students to make a list of things they wish they didn't do in life. Bad habits that they have that they wish they could get rid of. And things that they wish they accomplished for the sake of Allah. I have a list of wishes that I accomplished for the sake of Allah. Just a list of things that I hope I wasn't doing. I wish I wasn't doing this. I wish I wasn't so lazy. I wish I wasn't putting things off all the time. I wish I didn't lose my temper all the time. I wish I didn't have this or that or the other evil habit. Whatever it may be. Maybe some of you are smoking. Maybe some of you have a closet drinking habit. I don't know. You put that in your wish list. I wish I didn't do this. That I know is disobeying Allah. And on the other hand, I wish I was doing certain things for Allah. I wish I could get up for Fajr early enough. I wish I could just make it to the masjid once in a while to make salat there. So you lived a good life and you're in your deathbed. I imagine you and I are going to be on that bed one day or another. Whether it's going to happen in our car or on a plane or in our bed when we're old. Whenever that's going to happen, or it's in a hospital bedroom, and in a bed, in a hospital bed. You're just lying there, there are family members around you, they're crying over you. You don't even have the, بَلَغَتِ التَّرَاقِي, it's already reached the throat. You and I are about to check out of this place, this temporary residence Allah gave us, and this body itself is a temporary residence. We're about to check out of this body itself, and then nobody else. Your mother is standing there, your children are standing there, your brother, your sister, your friends are standing by your bed and they're crying, and then your eyes open and you see something they can't even see. You see angels coming down. Nobody can see them. You can see them. And when people see angels, only two kinds of angels show up. Angels that will terrify you like no terror ever, or angels that will give you joy like no joy you've ever experienced. And these people, in this particular ayah, they experience the joy of angels coming to them and saying, no, don't be afraid. لا تخافوا. لا تحزنوا. Don't worry. Don't be grieving. Ulama even commented, fear is understandable. You're about to die. Fear is understandable. What's la tahzanu doing there? Don't worry about it. Don't grieve. Grief and sadness happens over the past. Ma qad mada. Whatever happened already. So why is la tahzanu being mentioned? Because the believer is like, oh my God, angels are already here. I had to do some more tawbah. I had to make some more dua. I was planning on doing i'tikaf this year. I was going to recite some more Qur'an. I was going to spend some more time with my mother. I was going to stop. I was going to do, help my brother. I was going to pay off this one or that one. I was going to give some more sadaqah. I was ready to write the check before I passed out and now I'm in the hospital and now you're here. I was ready to write the check for sadaqah. Can I do that before you take me? And they say, no, don't worry about it. You're okay. You got enough credits. You graduate. La tahzanu. Wa abshiru bil Jannah. Congratulate yourselves. Feel congratulated about Jannah. Allati kuntum tu'adun, that used to be promised to you all the time. Others say that this is happening, the angels coming and congratulating you constantly, is happening even now if you are trying to become a better person. If you're trying to live up to thumma istaqamu. You may not hear them, you may not see them, but Allah sends angels from the sky for the only reason to just come and say to you, and to make you feel not afraid and not worried, and to feel good about Jannah that's coming. Allah Azza wa Jal sent a legion of angels to protect you and me just because we were courageous enough to declare that we're Muslims and live by it. Whose protection are we looking for? Allah already sent a battalion of angels. The same angels that are now congratulating this person of Jannah are letting him know we've always been around actually. Allah assigned us to be your security team. You know? In this dunya, fi dunya wa fil akhirah, and in the akhirah. Now your question is, why would you need security in the akhirah? In dunya I understand, there's dangers in dunya. Why do you need security in the akhirah? Because from the time you get out of your grave to the time you make it through the gates of Jannah, there's a lot of danger in between. There's a lot of danger in between. In the akhirah, where Allah has assigned us to make sure you're okay, to take care of you. وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَا تَشْتَهِي أَنفُسُكُمْ. And in Jannah, for you people especially, there's going to be whatever you desire. Now Jannah, when the Prophet describes it sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says, مَا لَا عَيْنٌ رَأَتْ, what no eye has ever seen, وَلَا أُذُنٌ سَمِعَتْ, no ears ever heard, وَمَا خَطَرَ عَلَى قَلْبِ بَشَرٍ, no heart has ever even imagined what's in Jannah. When you and I, one day, by Allah's permission and His mercy, may Allah enter all of us, when we go into Jannah, is our imagination going to expand? Is it going to be that we see things that we want, that we've never even imagined before? Yeah. So now in the beginning of Jannah, your only appetites are the ones you learned in dunya. But once you get into Jannah, you develop new cravings. You want some new stuff, because you've seen things you've never seen before. So Allah says, not only your shahwa, وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَا تَدَّعُونَ, maybe some other thought crosses your mind later on in Jannah. Ya Allah, I would like some of that too. You have that too. It's not like, no, you already placed your orders. We only take orders once. It's not like that in Jannah. You make the order, you desire, whatever your desire is given to you, then your desires evolve, and evolve, and evolve, and they keep getting placed. And you keep asking for more things, and they keep getting given to you. وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَا تَدَّعُونَ. What an incredible description of Jannah, but the most incredible part is what I'm concluding with, the next ayah. This next ayah, because one of my problems is I'm Desi, so I'm going to have to explain it to you from my point of view. In Desi culture, in Indo-Pak culture, you go to somebody's house. When you go to somebody's house, they don't take you to the dining room, they take you to the living room, the guest room. And the guest room, they give you some dry fruit, chai shai, pani shani, thanda chanda, okay, some piste badam, something, you know, they give you some snack before the actual dinner. Okay, they don't give you the actual dinner first. They sit you down and they give you like maybe a mini Snickers bar or something. But whatever, they give you a little mini snack. What is the point of it? Whet your appetite. That's to whet your appetite. Then they take you for the main meal. Okay, that's the difference between those two. So initial hospitality, when you walk into somebody's house, you get initial hospitality, a little bit of a light, can I get you some water, can I get you some juice, something, while the dinner's being prepared and the table's being set and things like that, right? That initial hospitality is called nuzul. In the Arabic language, the initial hospitality is called nuzul. And the word nuzul comes from nazala, which means to come down. Literally that's used because the guy that came over to your house came, back in the day, he came on a horse. He came on a camel. So what did he do? He came off his horse and he came into your house. And he came to your house, and your house is also called manzil. One of the names for your house is al-manzil. And when he comes into your manzil, you give him nuzul, the first introductory hospitality, just to get your appetite started. That is called nuzul. Now this description of Jannah that I just gave you, the next ayah Allah says, كُلُّ هَذَا نُزُلًا مِّن غَفُورٍ رَحِيمٍ. This is just introductory appetite from the one who forgives excessively, the one who's got all kinds of care and mercy. We're just getting started. All you can desire and all you can imagine to ask Allah for is just getting started. That's just introductory hospitality. And you know why that's so incredible? Because you and I, at the end of the day, نحن خالق. كم نطلب? How much are we going to ask for? How much can we ask for? Our imagination, even after seeing Jannah, is limited. Even after seeing Jannah. So Allah will give us, without us even asking, things we can't even imagine after we're in Jannah. And that's later. That's beyond words. This is just to get your appetite started.